Good evening, everyone, and welcome to another edition of Q's on the Move. My name is Matt Stevens, Spring 96, New Beta Beta, currently the Fatherhood and Mentor Chair for the 2nd District. And tonight we have a phenomenal presentation that we're going to be talking about something that's near and dear to the fraternity, both topics, reclamation and retention. And so we are going to be focusing on that tonight. I have three amazing brothers that will be working with me tonight. I wanted them to introduce themselves, and then we'll get started with our activities. So, first, brother Keith G. Pemberton. Brother Pemberton, how are you tonight?
Doing well, Brother Stevens. Great evening to all. Great evening to
Great,
all.
great. All right, next brother that's in my chapter keeps me on the straight and narrow. Brother Eugene Glenn. Brother Glenn, how is it tonight?
Blessed and highly favored, man.
All right, great, great. Lastly, good brother I met for the first time the other day at a father's conference. He actually came with his little child, and so he really made the conference what it was really all about. The brother Jules Rhodes. Brother Rhodes, how are you tonight?
Feeling blessed. Still got breath in my body, so it's another day.
All right, brothers. All right, so let's kind of get it started. Brother Pemberton, I'm going to start out with you. Tell us a little bit about yourself, brother. What is your current position in the fraternity?
Oh, well, thank you very much, Brother Stevens. Keith G. Pemerton, 396 Pi Chapter. Pi Chapter is Morgan State University for the uninitiated. And I have the pleasure of serving as the Vice Chairman, International Vice Chairman for the Fatherhood and Mentorship Committee, the International Fatherhood and Mentorship Committee, under the direction or under the leadership of Ray Bell, who's the chair. I serve as the chair of the International Youth Leadership Conference, the IYLC. And all of this would be for naught if I don't recognize our first Vice Grand Bosselist, Brother Mark Jackson, and on top of Brother First Vice Grand Jackson, our Grand Bosselist, GB42, Ricky L. Lewis. Thank you for the opportunity to serve in the capacity of Vice Chairman and Chairman.
Good stuff, brother. As mentioned, I also have to make sure that I but I also let everybody know that I work directly with First Vice Dr. Leon Smith and the 39th District Representative for the 2nd District, Amir Sharif. And so on behalf of those two, we really wanted to talk tonight about reclamation as well as mentorship. You wear both hats in that regard. Brother, so can you tell us from your perspective why reclamation is important to the fraternity? And do you have any special charges that have been given to you to help the fraternity with reclamation?
Absolutely. I'm going to stay in my lane since I'm IYLC and IFMC. There is an International Reclamation Chair. However, our Grand Bosselist and our First Vice Grand has reinforced that we need to reclaim one brother. Each brother reclaim a brother, and that's powerful because when we have our meetings, we start off our meetings with, how many brothers have you reclaimed, and when we say that, we actually document that. We have a Google Doc, and each committee member. For example, we have committees from the 1st District, 2nd District, 3rd District, the 4th District, 5th District. I know folks may not know all the states that are involved with it. 6th District, 7th District, the 8th District, 9th District, 10th District, the 12th District, and the 13th District are international chapters. Each IYLC coordinator is plugged in on our monthly meeting to share how many members they've reclaimed. And one month maybe one, maybe two, and then we do a calculation at the end of the fiscal year and share that with our First Vice Grand, our chair first, and then our First Vice Grand, who then shares it with our Grand Bosselist.
Good stuff. Well, I know with your hat, with the mentoring, You do a lot of work with young people all over this country. And I was just blown away by the performance and the activities that you put together in Tampa that were just second to none, brother. They were phenomenal activities. And my hope is that brothers saw that and they came back to the fraternity just to be a part of something like you put on that day. And that's being put on all throughout the country in various mentoring programs. But what do you think the role mentoring can in fact play in reclamation?
I think it plays a deep role. When we say reclamation and retention, that's one of our nationally mandated programs. All right, so brothers are supposed to be following that mandated program. When we have brothers who may not be interested in the normal or the regular chapter meetings and so forth, there's a way where we can reach them if they have an interest in building, being bridge builders, right? I'll just throw some words out there, being a bridge builder. That would be mentoring. That's a way of guiding a young person. With the International Youth Leadership Conference, we have youth from across the country. They may convene at one location. We will say that in July, it's going to be in Detroit. So save the date. This information will be coming, where we'll have youth from across the country to attend. The main focus, we're doing leadership opportunities. Brothers can be involved on a local level. Brothers can be involved on a district level, but you might want to just be financial so you can find out what's going on. Just being in the know. You may not be able to make all the chapter meetings. You may not be able to make all the district meetings or the winter meetings. However, if you're financial, you will be in the know. And you did mention brother DR Sharif, 39th District Representative DR Sharif. I want to shout him out as well, because the winter meeting is going to be held on the university, the campus of Morgan State University, which is tremendous as an opportunity for the young brothers to lead. So hats off to brother DR Sharif. I also want to tip my hat off to brother, our 6th district, 44th 6th district representative, Cedric Lucky, 96. So I heard you first, brother Stevens, 96. That's that legendary year, 1996. I just want to put that out there. But I want to tip my hat to the brothers who's our DRs are very supportive, and we know that this is something that is catching on across the fraternity. To each one bring one, and to be a mentor. Talking about uplift, right? Uplift. I yield.
Great, brother. Well, that gives me a great opportunity to bring on this next brother, one of the brothers in the Ada Pi chapter, who I look up to as a mentor. This brother always comes to big time. He's busy as all get out, but he makes time for the brothers. And I'm not sure if that's the reason he was given this position or he took this position, but I want to bring on my good brother, Eugene Glenn. Brother Glenn, how's it going tonight?
Great, brother Stevens. Thanks for having me.
Oh, without a doubt, team. All right, so could you tell us a little bit about who you are, brother? Where did you come in as a member of this fraternity, and what is your current position in the chapter that you're in?
Sure. So my current, I came into the fold of Omega Psi Phi in 1988. Phi E, Phi Epsilon, University of Buffalo, spring '88. My brothers Darren Thomas and Garnett Francis. Was a student athlete when I came in at the University of Buffalo. And graduated and got into the field of financial services. Came back to New York because that's what I'm originally a New Yorker. Lived in New York for some time, but for the last 15 years I've been living in New Jersey, in Essex County. So I was sharing a story with the brother on the line. I was physically living. I lived right across the street from where the meetings were being held. So, God was saying, hey, man, I can't make it no easier. So I would go home, spend time with my family, have dinner on the third Friday of the month, and then walk across the street to the chapter meetings. They were held at the high school that we were at this Saturday for the Fatherhood Initiative.
Great. And so what role do you play in Ada Pi chapter as it relates to reclamation? Last week we had on Brother Hayes, and I know that he fills one hat and you fill the other hat. But what are some of the things that you're doing with the Ada Pi chapter?
Sure. So Reclamation, Reclamation is my share on my side of the fence, and retention is Brother Hayes. That's his side of the fence. So that's where you get reclamation and retention. And the chapter, the e-board, thought it was best that we have, two different chairs, because there should be two different approaches. I also should add that I'm co-chair of the second district investment committee as well. But keeping it to reclamation and retention, that's where I split my time, and I've been active with Ada Pi at least 11 years now. Yeah, 10 or 11 years. Yeah.
Good stuff, man. So I'm sure that you are in contact with brothers in similar positions in other chapters throughout the country.
Right.
As you guys talk and as you start to look at Ada Pi in particular, what are some of the major challenges that you're seeing in trying to get brothers to come back? And what are you doing to address those challenges?
Sure. So one of the major challenges, and I got to give, piggyback on what Brother Pemerton said, is brothers understanding in the chapter that everyone in the chapter is on the reclamation committee. Oftentimes I'll get a text and an email of a brother's information saying, hey, call him. And I have to call the brother who sent me the text and information and say, hey, you've established a relationship with him. You invite him to the meeting, because everybody, and I do this in the chapter meetings, I say, everyone raise their hand. Everyone who raises their hand, I say, you are all on the reclamation and retention committee. So it could be you running into that brother at a frat event. It could be you running into that brother at a holiday party in the mall. How you and that brother connect, you can take accountability and responsibility with bringing that brother back into the fold. I was so fortunate to have a frat brother, a line brother, who would always just be like, hey, how come you're not active? And in his role right now as a quarter of the rep, you can see, or could see then, when I wasn't financial. So not everyone has the opportunity or the privilege to have a line brother who's active and has access to the frat scroll. But every time we talk, just really getting on my back about, hey, brother, you can add to the frat more than what you're doing, and I need you to be active. My day job is a financial advisor, and little did I know how it would lead into me doing what I'm doing with the investment committee. But everybody has a talent. Everybody has something that they do. I think whether you have a talent or not, I'm fortunate enough also to have a brother like you, Matt, in the chapter, who I was just seeing where you were doing, what you were doing in the Essex County area, and I would get a gentle phone call or text from you to show up, and I would show up. I just think it's really hard for us, it was hard for me, let me just say, and it may not be hard for others, to be in a predominantly Black county like Essex County and see these young Black men who we can help, right? If you open your phone or look at the news any other time, there's something that we're not doing that's good. And in my mind, we're not all bad. So as a man of Omega and a brother of Omega of 100,000+ members in this fraternity, there's a way that we can change our community. We can have an impact, especially now with this current president administration going on, right? So I just could not be a part of Essex County and not give back, especially when a brother like you, Matt, would give the call and say, hey, we need your help.
Without a doubt, brother. Well, one of the things I dig about you the most is you never come empty-handed. Every time I ask you to come to a mentor program, you come full-fledged and you bring that work. And this weekend we had our Fathers Conference. We had about 100 brothers that came out for the conference. All of the mayors from local counties came out, and we really knocked it out of the box. But you didn't just come to support. You brought a brother with you, and the brother that you brought with you brought his kid with him. And so, not knowing this brother just for a second, I want to give you the privilege of introducing this brother.
Well, thank you. So the next brother is going to speak is Jules Rhodes. Jules was initiated into the fraternity in 2008. Jules he's an active right now. Well, he wasn't active with a chapter, but he's a full-time father, a great husband, and he's a DEA agent. So Jules has been in the New Jersey area. He was formerly in Atlanta, but ever since his touched New Jersey, I was like, bro, you got to join this chapter. And I'd like to introduce Jules Rhodes at this time.
Brother Jules, how's it going?
Going well. I cannot complain. Thank y'all.
Without a doubt, man. So was he on your case, or was he hitting it hard, or what?
Nah, man. I like Gene said, I crossed in 2008, and I was talking to Gene and his LBs ever since then. Gene probably doesn't remember the conversation, but I think it was a couple years after he was actually asking me for advice on how to handle a situation with his son since we were close in age. And I was saying, take it easy. You know, don't stress out. It's going to be all right. You know. And then now looking back, it all comes full circle. He gives me marital and
Oh, good stuff, man. Good stuff. Well, we definitely want to welcome you back to Ada Pi chapter. Hope you saw something good on Saturday that made make you interested in participating in the mentoring and fatherhood section. But you've seen a little bit about what the Mighty Mighty is all about. What are you most excited about in regards to getting back involved in the fold? And where do you see yourself, I guess, in the next couple of years making it happen?
So I bounced around quite a bit. I lived in Atlanta for 5 years after I left New York. And then I moved to San Diego, California for about a year. And then when I came back east, I wanted to live in New York, but decided to settle down in New Jersey. I'm happy with my decision. I could say I've been to Ada Pi a few times. I've been to the fraternity house, been to a few different events at the corridor cookout and other various events, and was pleased with the chapter. I know a couple brothers from the chapter that were initiated in the chapter, and just had an overall good feel for the chapter as well. Kind of resembled Buffalo with districts this year. Hope to see all the brothers on this call there as well. Just a homegrown type of sense. So I would say that's what brought my interest to the chapter. What I would bring to the chapter, I would say the event that happened this weekend, the Fatherhood Initiative. There was a young lady that was there. She actually owns a farm in, I believe, Elizabeth. She was saying, and I was expressing to her that kids. I grew up in the inner city. I grew up in between the Bronx and Harlem, and I don't know anything about agriculture, right? So I thought it was very interesting that she was there, but she was talking about fathers and how to help take care of their wives or girlfriends giving birth and after birth. She was a doula, but she also she had a farm as well, and she had different plants and vegetables that she grew. And I was thinking, like, man, I know they have the youth mentoring program. A lot of these kids, probably like myself, don't know much about agriculture and how that can be helpful. And a lot of food nowadays are not what they used to be. So I figured that could be of some type of use for us. So just different programs that I feel like I could be helpful with and promote, whether it be in person or via social media as well.
Man, what's crazy is that her name is Jules as well. She just spells it Jewes.
Yes.
And that's crazy how it just kind of comes together like that, right? Man, that sister makes the best vegetable soup on the planet. She comes to the house sometimes, and I'm talking about the frat house, and she does a demonstration for the kids and adults on how to cook vegetable-based foods. So if you got any work in kitchen, we definitely can use you in that area as well. Tell us a little bit about what you do professionally, and how do you see that impacting the fraternity at all?
So I've been in law enforcement since 2013, so about 12 years now. So that plays a big impact on my family side as well. Just on the severity of how crime can affect the person that committed or is accused of committing a crime, how it affects the family as well, because they're going through it with you. So I would see anybody that I come in contact with or hear of go through the same. And unfortunately, a lot of youth in inner city come in contact with law enforcement. So just kind of mentoring the youth on how to stay out of trouble. The reason one of the many reasons that I joined Omega Psi Phi was my football coach. Actually, he is a brother from Zeta Psi. His name is Michael Daniel from Zeta Psi. He's 205. And my cousin Dante Jones, he's also part of Zeta Psi. He's a deuce from 07. And they helped me navigate applying to college, getting through college, to college, and through college. So I would say I would want to teach kids you could get there through sports, through education. And if you don't play sports, you could get, another extracurricular activity. But keeping kids busy to stay out of the streets, I would say, is probably what I would want to do most with the youth program.
Hey man, that brings me back to Brother KG Pemberton, because of the work that I see this brother doing. This brother is the most dedicated brother on the planet, man. When we was in Tampa, he would get there like 6 o'clock in the morning. He had 2 sons with him. He was rocking and rolling through the whole thing, and his program was just so tight, man. He had like brothers all over the place just coming in, and they all followed the same suit. So, Brother Pemerton, how do you see the youth leadership activities that you're doing? How do you see that type of stuff bringing brothers back into the fold to help us get this done?
That's a great question, Brother Stevens. And for that same question, we have a link where we have former IYLC participants who eventually become Omegas to give them, it's called the alumni. So IYLC alumni. And we use that as a way to connect and check on whether or not they're financial. After that 3 years as an undergraduate, they may not, they may find something else to do. But this is a way for them to connect with a nationally mandated program under Fatherhood Initiative. Now, you saw me with 2, but I want to share that I have 3 sons. I have a sophomore in college, I have a junior in high school, and I have a freshman in high school. So I want to make sure, even though you saw those 2, there's a 3. It's a great number, though. Great number to fraternity. The 3.
Okay, absolutely. Good stuff, man. So, Glenn, you had indicated that Brother Glenn, you had indicated that you were an athlete in college. And I still see, you're kind of active. You love fishing and so forth and so on. Mm-hmm. Do you see those things like the Super Bowl is this weekend? I know the mayor. I just got something from him that they're going to be doing something up at the golf course. I gotta assume we bought those big TVs up for the 3rd floor in the frat house. There's something going on there. How do you think the sports can increase reclamation, and how does mentoring play a role in that? Particularly this Super Bowl weekend, is anything going on?
Yeah, well, unfortunately, Ada Pi is not giving an event. We're actually supporting another chapter. And forgive me on the chat. It's a newly chartered chapter in Elizabeth. So we're supporting we're supporting their event. But in the past, we've had events at the frat house. Reclamation event we had not last Super Bowl, Super Bowl before. But yes, we've utilized the facilities, the Family Resource Center for a Super Bowl event there. I was blessed to play sports, and it showed. I think the biggest thing sports allowed me and showed me to do is how to interact with other people, no matter what age, race, or gender, right? And be comfortable in my space, whether I'm on stage or on TV or around a large group of people, and that helped parlay into my day job. Because I'm constantly doing large conferences via Zoom, and I'm constantly doing, I'm standing in front of crowds talking to people about the benefits of saving for retirement. So, it's beautiful. And it also was my incentive to graduate. Yes, the brothers were there, but hey, at the end of the day, you got to graduate. You got to maintain a certain GPA, right, to continue being active. But more importantly, you need to graduate. And I was also fortunate to have a family member. I will be the first to tell everyone, I was not first generation in my family. I had an uncle who played for NYU back in the 70s when they were Division I. So I was fortunate enough to have an uncle who told me, hey, listen, even if you make it to the NBA, no one is asking you your statistics, your basketball statistics at a job interview. So I was fortunate to have a family member, in my life. And then my dad was in my life too. Don't get me wrong. He was in law enforcement, and he was the one that kept it real too. Like, listen, you can break your knee that first year, dude, and there's no more money. So I was fortunate enough to have men in my life. And that's probably where, my eagerness to be in your mentoring programs and projects and Brother Stevens, because I was fortunate to have a couple of brothers in my life that were Jackie Knowles and Jules know who he is from the PAL, who are constantly about, hey, sports is great, but it's about being, getting education. So I will even tell people I wasn't an athlete. I was a student athlete. But played against some of the greatest back in the mid to late 80s. I was fortunate enough to use that, and I still want to continue that with these young brothers here. Like, listen, basketball is going to be a short window in your life. Even if you make it to the league, you're not going to play till you're 40. So continue, please, brother. Get that degree, graduate, and look at things that you want to do to be productive in society. But more important, what is your passion? What is that you enjoy? What is it that you'll stay up to 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning doing? And yes, it may have been basketball back in the day, but we don't stay young forever. But yes, brother, I still maintain I have an 11-year-old who keeps me active and keeps me busy. And I would even bring her. You would see, bro, I would bring her to some of the mentoring programs that we would do because, hey, I would be the one responsible for childcare after work. So, but yeah.
Good stuff, man. Well, one of the things that I recognize for all three of you brothers is you have some experience with New York City. You have some experience with sports. I remember my favorite player from New York in the 80s was a cat named Pearl Washington. He was thorough. I think
boys and girls.
Yeah, he was nice, man. I don't think he's still with us anymore, but he was a heck of a guard. And so, Brother Jules, one of the things that we're recognizing is that our young people are interacting with the police negatively, and then also that the kids don't travel anymore. Like the kids in Jersey, they don't go to New York at all. Like when I was a kid, we would go over there to get our sheepdog, to get a bomber, to get the belts, the music. Kids don't even go to New York anymore. Like they used to have the trips when we go to Broadway or to the Statue of Liberty. They don't do that anymore. So New York City to a kid in East Orange is like Mars. Do you see any, opportunities for the kids to kind of go over to New York City? Or are there places that you would think that we should go to help them? And do you think that would help to bring other brothers who are not active back into the fold to kind of help us tour New York City? What are your thoughts on that?
Yes, I think so. I think you kind of have to meet kids where they are. So a lot of them are into like video games. So I know, for instance, right, there's a brother that came through, I believe it's Cairo chapter, and he owns a video game bus. Actually, he's a full-time entrepreneur, and he owns a video game bus. And I know we're talking about New York City, but maybe they have been in New York City, seeing family or something, but maybe they've never been out to Long Island. Not knowing their college is out in Long Island, not knowing the Hamptons out in Long Island. So just exposing them to something bigger than just New York City, and maybe we take a trip out there, they play on the video game bus, or even finding out a brother that's maybe certified in flying drones, right? I don't know of any at this moment, but just trying to find something that kids are into. I know electronics and video games and drones for my younger nephews. That's really what they're super into. But I think just kids and adolescents right now, they're in the house and playing games online. Social media, everything is handheld. They're contained in the house. So I know it's a football player by the name of Fred Taylor. I heard him say exposure leads to expansion, and maybe just taking them out of that, whether it be going fishing with Brother Glenn. I didn't fish too much growing up. I'm still interested in going fishing. I took my son for the first time fishing, 2 years ago, with a bruh in Jersey, Tristan. He's from TZ. He's 07. So I think just exposing, kids to as much as we can. It may not be something that we're into, but it could be something that they into, whether it be, I know Brother Glenn, he played basketball, but maybe we take him to a hockey game, to a soccer game, something to just get out the house, a brand new sport, just something new.
Without a doubt, man. We got a brother in the chapter named Brother Lamar Thompson. This brother's an avid fisher, man. I don't know if it's true or not, but I saw him he caught a shark. Glenn, did the brother Thompson actually catch a shark?
Yeah. So I was invited to that trip. Yes, he did. But I do not fish for things that are looking to eat me, right? I respectfully declined that invitation. But yes, he was out there. Yeah, that's my fishing buddy. We get it in. We get it in. But yes, he went fishing for a shark and caught one. And I was like, Rue. I look for the things a lot smaller that I can get on my grill and in my freezer. Yeah, we're out. Me and him are out there a lot, getting it in, man.
I'd be remiss, brothers, if I don't mention the chapter that I'm affiliated with, because we say we financial, right? So we work with a chapter. So I'm a member of affiliated with Beta Kappa Kappa chapter, On Point chapter, High Point, North Carolina, where our boss is P. Kevin Williamson. So I just want to make sure I put that out there. I'm here at 8 to 5. If they come to me, brother Pemerton, you didn't mention one thing about Beta Kappa Kappa, there'll be a problem. So I don't want no smoke.
Hey, so do the Beta Kappa Kappa brothers catch sharks though?
I think it's in the next meeting. We're gonna find that out. Well, we'll put that out. Find out. That's gonna be an inquiry. That's a good question when we're talking about reclaiming, brothers. What do you like to do? Have you caught a shark?
Right.
Absolutely, man. They could definitely come up to the mighty and go fishing with us. Well, in the time that we have left, Brother Pemerton, I'm gonna talk a little bit about 3 minutes left. We'll give each brother an opportunity to say something. Brother Pemerton, tell us what we got coming up with this youth conference in Detroit. What can brothers look forward to?
Well, the registration is going to open up at the end of February, and that's the action item we have coming from our first Vice Grand and up to our reported to our Grand, and you can expect. And we had usually do about 150 to 200. We're going to be at 250 students this time. We're giving the opportunity for districts to have delegates. So each district, we would love for every district to have a representative at this IYLC. Looking at the International Black History Quiz Bowl, that's coming up as well. So stay tuned for that. It's going to be coming through. Of course, we have to go through the proper channels, through our chair, and then through our first Vice Grand to put on to Constant Contact. Look forward to receiving information on that Father's Day program. You'll hear that from the Fatherhood and Mentorship, as well as the Father of the Year nominees. So that's something that we look forward to promoting and working on that strategic plan. You know, with Omega having our strategic plan, branding is going to be key. Leadership and branding. When we talk about IYLC or IFMC, IYLC, Big Brothers, Big Sisters, branding. With that ideal, I will say a quote: great students and young leaders are born. They are prepared. Great, generous, respectful, educated, articulate, and tenacious.
That's hard to follow, brother. But my hope is that, do you know if they'll have that boat ride? Because I heard that boat ride in Detroit is off the chain.
That is out of my realm. That's out of my. That's a whole nother topic. But we were actually at the International Undergraduate Summit, which was phenomenal. Brother Second Vice Grand Jenkins did an outstanding job at the IUGS, and there was there were talks about it. So I want to stay in my lane. But the marshal, Brother Bullock, the marshal for the Dr. Moses C. Norman Senior International Leadership Conference, he'll be sharing more information on that. I hope I stayed in my lane, Brother Stevens. You know,
absolutely. I'm not trying to pull you out the lane, brother. All right, so Brother Glenn, what's coming up for Ada Pi in reclamation and retention, brother?
Well, it's funny you say that. We're sitting actually as after your great event on Saturday. I tapped a few brothers on the shoulder and said, "Hey, we need to really sit down and plan our calendar out for the remaining of the year." We had some strategy that we put out or planned, meaning we had a list of brothers that we just broke up that we hadn't seen in a while, and that's been disseminated amongst the committee. But now it's what do we call to say? Right. And I think, what you did Saturday and the events to come is just, bro, it's simple. Just be there. I mean, more importantly, let me say this. Find out what's been keeping the brother from the fold. Right. And, and like Brother Jules and all of us, I heard your father too, Brother Pemerton, kids, charity starts at home. So, yes, I do understand at some point, and I do myself, I have 4 kids that, I took a back seat and wasn't as active in the fold as I am now. So with raising kids, first getting married, then raising kids, you will slow down the progress with the frat. But more importantly, what I always preach to brothers, not so much preach, but kind of suggest is, let's see where brothers are at. It may be, and why they're not in the fold. It may be finances. It may be family situation. They may just be disenchanted with the frat. So, let's sit down and have that conversation over a cup of coffee or tea, and just, belly to belly, breast to breast, like, brother, what's going on? Where are you at? Because, whether you were born in, no matter when you were born into the fold, there was a chapter, a district, brothers that saw you being a true Omega man, and let's try to bring you back. So we do have some events on the calendar on a quarterly basis. I'll say we call it chili and cheese, where we address, brothers, no libations. We're just talking, brother, where are you at? And we had a couple of events like that last year, to the point where we're saying we need to make this a quarterly event, where we're really addressing the mental health issues that are addressing the brothers of Omega Psi Phi. And yes, we as brave and big and strong as we are, there are some brothers in the fold who, including myself, that need to address, what's on our mind, because, we can get worn down by the day-to-day, stresses of being, a man, a father, a husband, and the priest of your home. So we have a couple of things on the calendar, but I really want to drill down and really meet with you, brother Stevens, to see what's going on, where we can pick up the phone and say, bro, and I did it Saturday. I started last week saying, hey, we have a fatherhood initiative coming up this Saturday at the high school. We need you to be there. But we want to continue that conversation and continue that dialogue with the 7, 8 to 10 brothers that you have that you're assigned to. And more importantly, if you can meet that brother, not just, texting and emailing, pick up the phone. Sometimes we think, I told the brother, nah, man. And I tell brothers, it's a laughing joke. I say, brothers, I'm calling because you've been responding to me via text because, hey, I don't know if the wife cashed in the life insurance policy and she's running your phone, right? So I want to hear your voice, bro. I do pick up the phone after a series of text messages from brothers. Hey, bro, how you doing? And we have the program as a national mandate from IHQ, brother, you're on my mind. But, how many of us live that creed? Brother, you on my mind? I say pick up the phone and call them. Because a lot of times I'll be thinking, we all been there. Man, bruh, y'all got to put on the gloves to go to this memorial service. Man, what do you mean? I was just thinking of that, bruh. So that's why I strongly suggest pick up the phone and call bros. Hey, and it could be just, how you doing, bro? And unfortunately, my day job, I have the liberty to do that between meetings to say, bro, you was on my mind. I just want to see how you doing. And I'm calling bros, whether you're in Buffalo, I'm calling you in California, I'm calling bros in Florida. So I think we all should just be true to who we are as men of Omega and reach out and call that brother.
Without a doubt, brother. Speaking of which, man, I just wanted to send my condolences out to a brother who I didn't even know was sick, man. Good brother, Charlie Williams out of Delta Upsilon, just passed away last weekend. And just really a sad situation in that regard. And I wish I would have just picked up the phone or just versus just texting or hitting them on Facebook or so forth and so on. So I absolutely hear what you're talking about. And that leaves me to last, Brother Jules, man. We want to welcome you back, brother, to the fold. And all of the committees are open for you. Give you opportunity to check out all of them. And we just want to welcome you and your family into the fold and hope everything works out with you. Is there, in closing, anything that you would like to leave the brothers with?
I would say, I know it's the new year, so that but a month has went by. So I would say, brothers, whatever New Year's resolutions that you did set forth, and maybe you slack back on them or anything like that, pick up where you left off and get back to it. And the reason why I say that is because March is coming up on a year. My wife's my brother-in-law had passed away suddenly. So I know most people just take care of themselves, their health. So I would say get that in check. I'm doing the same. I started late. You know what I'm saying? So I'm saying this to the brothers, and I'm also saying this to myself as well. So just get your, if your brothers haven't, or just people, everybody on the call, if you haven't been to the doctor in a while, just go to the doctor. If you haven't worked out in a while, eating right, everything like that. Just take care of your physical and your mental and your spirit.
Without a doubt.
Stevens,
yes, brother.
I know you have to close up, but I would be remiss if I didn't mention this. especially Brother Grand Chaplain knew that I was on a call or on a thing. So the prayer line, Omega prayer line, 267-807-9601. 267-807-9601. The passcode is 674-166-340. And so Mega Prayer Line, they do things from as early as from 5:30 in the morning where they do history. Then their prayer line starts at 6:30. And then there's a parking lot afterwards where brothers are getting together. And it's open to all brothers. That brother might feel something, might hear the word and be like, listen, I need to get back in the fold. So I'll leave. I yield with that. Thank you so much for the opportunity. 88.
Brother, that's the best way to end this particular program. Want to mention to all of the chapters out there, please share this link and on all your social media posts as they relate to mentoring and fatherhood. We're asking you to use the hashtag Omega Mentors. And that will kind of help us galvanize all of our information into one social media post. With that said, Darius, thank you for giving us a little extra time tonight. And I'm going to shout out, man. Shut off. Brothers, have a great weekend. Stay on for a second, brother, so we can just chop it up. But Darius, that's it, man. Thanks so much. Cool. All right, brothers, that was it, man. What y'all think?